Okay, go.
Hi, this is Bobbi from Quilter's Candy Shop. I'm here with my producer, Margie, who's monitoring this production. What we're going to do today is we're going to talk about how to make a raggy quilt. We've shipped a lot of these out this week, and so a lot of you will be receiving them first part of next week. And we just thought we'd put a video out here that would show you what to do with them if you were new to this, and to show you some of the tips. We've sewn and sold a lot of these. This was probably the first class I ever taught when we opened the shop, because it's a forgiving class and it's an easy class. And if you want to sit down with your grandkids and your kids and they say, hey, I want to sew too, this is something they can do. And it's something that you can do together, and you don't have to rip it out after they go home, and which is something I've been known to do. So I'm going to start with the very basics, but this is what you'll be receiving in the mail. This is a hunk of 8-inch cuts. When you get them, they're going to be back and front the same. So these are ready to sew. So when you get your Raggy kit, it's ready to sew. It's ready to sew the X's on. You don't have to do any cutting. You don't have to do anything. You should have 160 flannel squares here. This was the black brown, I think. This was the only kit that we had left out of all the kits that we cut. I cut this week. So this was one I could show you, but this is how they come. You're going to have 160 squares, but you really have 80 sets. So you have to think of them as sets, not as individual squares. So you don't want to take them apart when they come. And if they're not exactly the same, it's not going to matter. See how that's not exactly the same? That's just poor cutting on my part. I mean, I'll be honest. Either that or it's just not set together exactly square. But this won't matter because we're going to rag these edges. So don't get upset if, and that's usually on the end pieces, which I'm going to show you how we're going to do. But if you have flannel at home, let's start at the very beginning. So you have flannel at home and you're going to cut an 8-inch strip. Probably would have been better to do a different color than green on my green mat. But anyway, you're going to cut an 8-inch strip. Actually, you know, you're going to start out. What I'm going to do is start out with 2. These are 2 that are exactly the same. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut 8-inch blocks out of this. I'm going to take off this selvage end. So I'm going to make sure that, so we'll take off the selvage end. And I don't like to waste very much of it, but this is nice flannel. It's nice and wide. My cutter must be getting dull. All right, so now I'm going to cut 8-inch blocks. And if you don't have an 8-inch ruler, like a lot of us don't have an 8-inch ruler, this is a 6.5-inch ruler, and I just butt up 1.5 inches over here. Can you see all that? Okay, so I line this up. I'm going to cut my 8-inch blocks. Let's make sure my cutter worked that time. Yep. So there's 2 blocks, because you're thinking of sets. You're not thinking of squares. It's not like regular quilting because you're doing the back and the front at the same time. So you're thinking of sets. So think of a raggy as working with sets. All right, so there's 4 sets. Now you take these end pieces, and as long as you haven't cut from the fold in, which I've been known to make that mistake, then you have these nice cuts, or have these nice pieces at the end that you just line them up. So see, I've lined them up. They match. And I'm going to be able to get 2 more out of this.
One more set.
One more set out of this. Yes. Yes. Good thing my producer's here. She keeps me square. All righty. So we'll just line this up. We're going to cut another 8-inch block. So out of 2 8-inch strips, if your fabric is a good 40 inches, wide, you should be able to get 5 sets. So here we've got 5 sets. So if I'm cutting, I just cut them all at once. I mean, I cut all my fabrics and have them ready to go. I don't cut as I go. So anyway, out of 2 8-inch strips, you should get 5 sets. So we'll set those aside. Alrighty. So what I do is I sew an X across my, and that's just to kind of make them hang together a little better. I usually do it at like a 2-2, 2-4 stitch length. It doesn't really matter. You just don't need that really fine stitch length like when you're sewing your quilting. So I'll just line it up. You don't have to start clear at the corner because, oh, I gotta find my foot. Oh. Because you're going to be whacking that corner off anyway. So if you start about a 1/2 inch in from that corner, it's fine. And let's make sure, what am I on? Yeah. And I just, whoa, I cranked my, I don't know what I was sewing, but I cranked my speed way down. But I'll just do a little rambling across the middle and try to wind up at the other corner. And then I start with the next one. And I usually do 2 at a time. That's just me, but that's just how I do it. And here, I'll just, this is almost 2, I'm going to go up to 2/4. And I just ramble across. It almost gives your, and it doesn't matter if you don't quite make it to the corner. And I do 2 of these at a time. And then I'll come back through. Oh, I forgot to bring a pair of scissors, but that's fine. And then I'll come back through and I'll go in the other direction. Get my fuzzy off of there. And you can really see my rambling on this because I used a light thread. As for thread color, you can either make it match your quilt or you can do something fun. We used to sew these all the time with Valdani variegated thread because it just added a different dimension to them. So you can do whatever you want. But I always do kind of a crazy X in mine. And the reason I do that is so when somebody's critiquing my quilt, they don't go, my, this one isn't quite squared across. Yeah, it isn't because I wanted it that way. So I found teaching the class that if you make it kind of fun, then people look at it and they go, oh, that's kind of cool. So if I would sew straight across and maybe this one was really nice and straight, because I'm not going to sit here and draw a line on here, even with a chalk pencil. This is supposed to be a fun quilt. This is supposed to be fun, not take a lot of time. So we're going to make, what I'm going to do is do a 4 square with these and show you how I go from there. And then we'll, like I said, I always try to end up back at that corner. It's a goal, but it doesn't have to be square into the corner. I am using a walking foot, and with this I'm just using some, you can use any strong thread that you have, but you should use something like a, what is this thread? Aurifil, or if you don't have that, you can use a polyester, but you need a strong thread because you want to be able to pull this and not have it pop. And that's kind of what I like about using a polyester thread. You know, the reason we don't use polyester thread for quilting is that they always said that it cuts the cotton fibers. I don't know. I guess that's what they say, so I'm sure it's probably true. It's kind of like everything on the internet. If you read it, it's true. Alrighty. So on these quilt kits that we sent out, there's a lot. Oops, see, that one didn't quite go to the corner. It's not going to matter. There's a lot of different colors, but one thing you can always do is do a 2-color quilt, which is a really easy quilt to put together because you're going to do them opposite of each other. So it's pretty easy, but now I'm going to make 2 squares. So I'm going to do a 1/2 yard or half a yard. I'm going to do about a 1/2 inch. You can do anywhere up to 1 inch on the side. The more wider you sew it, the more raggy you're going to have. I would rather have a bigger quilt than more raggy. So I pick a line on here So I've picked this first line. So this may be a 1/2 inch and it may be, wow, try a smaller ruler. And it may be a little more. So it's really about 5/8 of an inch. I don't care. I'm just going to continually use that line. And here we're just going to sew these 2 squares together. And you would do this with your whole quilt. You would sew all of your 2 squares together. And if you sew them back and forth like this, or if you sew them, just make sure you're not putting the same 2 together like in the packets that we sent out that have a various amount of different flannels. Then, man, I have threads everywhere. Then it's easier to put the 4 squares together, but it really doesn't matter. I just try to, when I made the beige one, I just tried not to sew the same 2 squares together. So then I just line this one up and I'm just going to keep going. And I will sew all of my 2 squares together before I move on. So in this, you would have 42 squares because you have 80 sets of fabrics. All right, so now I've got this and I've got this. And you can't look at it on the finished side. With a raggy, you're looking at it from the unfinished side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a 4 square. And I'm going to butt these together. Butt these seams together, and I'm going to have 1 seam go one way and 1 seam go the other. And then they seem to match up better. Now, if these 2 ends didn't match up perfectly, there's a little stretch in your flannel. If there's not, it's not going to matter. We're going to cut that corner out anyway. So now we're going to sew the same seam on this side, but we're going to sew these into a 4 square. Our local high school makes Raggy quilts for their, I think one of their beginning projects. And she was just in today and she said the reason she really likes it is it's so forgiving. If you get off a little bit, it's not going to matter. Okay, so now I have my 4 squares sewn together. I like to work with a 4 square. This quilt, I sewed it all together because I was going to the river and I wanted to clip it at the river. So I sewed it all together. But usually I'll start out with this. I'll start out with, and I'll make, what is it, 24 squares. Yes, 24 squares. And I will clip them. So you want to come in here and you want to clip out this bulk in the middle, which is where you sewed it together. And then I'll clip on the other side because you're going to clip on the other side anyway. If you end up clipping the thread, you can just resew it. I mean, nothing should be difficult about making a raggy. It should be fun. Okay. And the reason I did that is now if you look at this, it's all stands up ready to go. So now I can just start clipping it. Where I'm going to sew these 4 squares together, I'm going to leave about 1 inch out there. But then I'm just going to come across here, and I love these scissors. I've tried to do this with other scissors. And what I'm clipping is about between 1/8 inch and 1/4 of an inch. And you just clip across. And these are like, I'll just set these in my lap and clip them as I'm watching TV. Or actually, you're listening to TV if you're clipping it, because it's pretty hard to watch and clip. But it goes really fast. I mean, like there, I've got 1/4 of this one done. So it's not hard. And there, whoops, I forgot to clip the back one. So you just go back through. Like I said, this is one of those quilts. And I love these because if your kids take them and you find them in the trunk of their car, you're not like, oh my God, that quilt cost me blah, 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 blah. And I spent so many hours on it. As a matter of fact, when my sons Joe and Ted were in high school, I made a raggy quilt for everybody on the wrestling team, which was about 10 years ago, maybe a little more. But this summer, I had one of these boys come up to me, and he has 3 little kids. And he said his little kids fight over that Raggy Quilt. So that Raggy Quilt has lasted a long time. And I thought, man, I'm surprised his wife hasn't dumped it. But he said that was one of the greatest gifts I ever got. But I gave it to him so that they'd have them when they were riding in the bus, because our school is kind of a long ways away from everybody that we play. So these kids are in the bus a long time. Plus, I don't know if you know anything about wrestlers, but you wrestle and then they might go camp out on the side of the bleachers and sleep for half an hour until they're getting close to being up again. So they really liked the Raggies, because they are so soft and they're so comforting. And I made them in all different kind of fabric when I made them for the wrestling team. And
can you go up a little closer so they can see? Just
yeah. So you're just clipping along here. And again, don't worry. I mean, this one's smaller than this one. This one's a little larger than all of them. You don't have to worry about that, because all we're doing is helping this thing rag out. But if you want it to curl, I mean, we teach that in our Raggy class too. If you just want it to curl, cut them about a half an inch apart. And then it'll do more of a curly cue than Raggy. But we really like the Raggy look. I mean, it's been something. And see, now I've got 1 4 square pretty well done. Because I want to leave this inch, because I'm going to be sewing these together. I'm going to be sewing 4 squares together. And what I do is I sew, but see, this 4 squares pretty well all done. But I'll sew 4 across, 4 4 squares across by 5 4 squares down. And that uses up your 20-inch 4 squares. Let's see.
why don't you put something in the middle, like batting?
Okay, I'm going to show you. So this is, the reason I didn't on this is this was really good flannel. There's a difference in flannel. There's a big difference in flannel. This flannel is so, and I can tell, but just by lifting this, that this is going to be a nice heavy blanket anyway. Now, I'm going to show you, we'll do a little demonstration putting batting in the middle. If you're comfortable just sewing, you don't have to, so what I did was I sandwiched batting in the middle of this. Same deal. I just stuck it in the middle. The batting I cut it about 1/4 of an inch smaller than my fabric, because I'm going to be cutting out the bulk of it. And I'll go through, and this is another job I'll do while I'm just sitting watching TV or something, is I'll sandwich my batting in. But this flannel, just as Margie told you Monday night, is not the heaviest flannel. I'm not going to say it's not the best, because once you wash it, it's going to be nice and soft. But it's not real heavy. It's not near as heavy as this Woolies flannel. This Woolies flannel is heavy flannel. If you put batting in it, it would be really a heavy blanket. So on this one, I'm just going to stick in a piece of batting. If you don't care about shrinkage, you can use cotton batting. I just use whatever I've got left over. These are hunks of batting that came off of quilts that I sent away to get quilted. And she always sends me back my extra batting, because I use 80-20 batting in all my quilts. And she doesn't have that on hand. So I always have to send her my batting. So she'll send me back what she has left. But so I'll go through and I'll sandwich these. And I'll have a whole stack of them sandwiched. Here's my beginning stack. And of course, here's my batting stack. So I'll just sit in front of the TV and I'll just sandwich those in. And then they'll be ready to sew, just as they are now. Well, now we're going to sew these the same way. We're going to sew corner to corner. And these are 6-inch squares. And the reason I cut 6-inch squares was on Monday night, I bought 1/2-inch or half-yard bundles. So with a, whoa, well, that's really cool. You really want to get the second piece when you're sewing. Boy, that's kind of embarrassing. So I guess this one will have 2 lines in it, but no one will know. Actually, I'll try and sew down the same line. And if I don't, I had somebody tell me once, the first lady that critiques a gift I give her, a quilt gift I give her, is probably, that's the last gift they're ever going to get. My kids never critique. I mean, they love getting their quilts and stuff, and I've never had one of them tell me that I did it wrong.
Edith said that. Imagine wearing 2 pair of flannel pajamas and a PJ made out of batting. Too hot.
Oh, you mean to put batting in the middle?
Right.
Yeah. And the reason I would put batting in the middle of this baby quilt is it's probably going to end up on the floor. It might end up tucked around. But like I said, it just wasn't the toughest batting. And these I'll just run through because I'm only going to do 4 of them. And with batting, you can see it pulls a little. So it kind of got so that it's not completely squared up anymore. It's not going to matter. This is just a fun quilt. So we'll get this 4 square put together because I want to show you how to handle the batting. But I always work with a 4 square.
It's freezing. Somebody says it's freezing.
Really? Let me look up here. It's not freezing here.
No, not yet.
Are we good to go or?
Let me see if I can come on.
Oh,
Okay, everybody's saying I think it's coming back. So it's broadcast interrupted.
yeah, it's showing live, but it's frozen.
What?
It's showing live, but it's frozen.
Yeah. Okay. Now see.
Are we good?
Yeah, try to go. Everybody's saying I think it's coming back.
All right. So we're just going to finish sewing these 4 squares together. And whenever you put batting in the middle, you might end up getting a little pucker in the middle. Again, no big deal. These will all turn out great when you wash it out. While I'm sewing these, I'll talk about washing. A lot of times, I'll go to the laundromat to wash these because they lint like crazy. They lint in your washer and they lint in your dryer. The biggest thing is if you're going to do it at home, and you can, most people have probably more commercial, nicer washers than what we do. You just make sure as it's washing to go into the washer and pull up if there's a bunch of hairies, little fabric threads. Just go in there and just pull them out and throw them in a bucket beside your washer. And if you do that a couple of times,
It's going in and out.
really?
Yes, I don't know why. Keep going.
All right. So now we're going to do this just like we did the green one. We're just going to sew 2 squares together and then turn it into a 4 square.
I think it's frozen.
Is it frozen? My producer's telling me we're frozen.
The producer doesn't know why it's freezing.
Well, now it's caught up, it looks like.
Yeah.
It freezes and then it moves on. And then it shows it again and again and again.
Oh.
Okay, so now it looks like it's ready to go, is it?
Try it again. No, it just. Is anybody or ask? I kept saying a lot of times.
We don't know why it's doing this.
We'd love to know why it's doing this.
Yeah, it's not even showing live anymore, Margie.
It's not showing live. It's showing live on mine, but okay. Well, let's go. We're gonna. Jackie says it's not frozen there, so let's just.
Okay. So hopefully it's at least filming this. Even if it's not live, it should be filming it. So what we're going to do is we're going to sew our 4 squares together now, or our 2 squares together. Again, I'm just using that line on this. On a 6-incher, I would definitely do about a 1/2 inch. On an 8-incher, I would do your, you could go up to an inch. And a lot of our raggies, we did at 10 inches, but man, they got awfully big at 10 inches. Because what you're looking for is a throw, something to throw in the car, something to cover up at night. And you can hear, it makes my machine work to sew through those. I'm sewing through 4 flannels and 2 pieces of batting. So it kind of makes my machine work, but it's good for it. So we're just gonna sew these 2 patches together. And now we're going to look at this, and I'm going to try and keep my whites so that they're not next to each other. So now I'm going to butt up my seams again. And I'm going to sew this. And as you can see, my corners aren't real perfect, but we're going to whack out those corners anyway. So it doesn't matter. But if I butt these up, they'll go together pretty nice. And again, just start somewhere near the end. Oops, I don't like the way that butted. So I'm going to go the other direction. When you sew with batting in the middle, which I'll guarantee you, O'Neill, Nebraska, it gets really cold here. So once in a while having that batting is kind of nice. But when you sew with batting in the middle, you have to do a little extra trimming. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to cut out my little squares. This is probably the worst job of a raggy, is cutting out all these little squares. And then you cut the side. And these little pieces here will rag out, so you don't have to worry about them. And I'm going to go over here and cut this little square out. This is something that when we started making raggies, we didn't do this in the beginning. And boy, it makes a difference. Now, you can see I've got this batting sticking out because I wanted to catch that batting. One thing about using batting is you've got to catch it in the outside all the way around. So I've got this batting sticking out here. And what I'll do is I'll just fold back those pieces and I'll just go in here and clip out the majority of those battings. The rest of it will all disappear in your wash. Yeah, or your dryer or your pipes, you know. But what I've done is I've cut that down to just barely any in there. And then I'll come over here and I'll do this all the way around. And the reason I do that is because it's gonna flake away out of your quilt anyway. Batting's not going to hold up. So you might as well get it out of there now. Now this is ready to clip, just like we did the other one. So see, and I just go around all the way. But again, this is something that I do. I sew all the 4 squares first, regardless of how big the quilt's going to be. I'll sew it in 4 squares. It's just much easier to handle. And I try to make everything easy to handle. So, this isn't rocket science. You don't have to get it right next to the seam. As you can see, it's pretty crappy cut. But as this thing washes 1,000 times, eventually there won't be hardly any of it there, but it's still caught in my seam. So it's not going to pull away. It's not going to, I don't know, what do you call it when the batting pulls away? But anyway, this is the one side. So your corners match up really nice if you tend to butt them that way, with one going one way, one going the other. And then when you get totally done, then you're going to have to go back and do those seams where you sew those 4 squares together, take out those corners in the middle, and then you're just going to have it laying on your lap. So raggies are something you make in the wintertime because you're laying this on your lap clipping most of the time. I'll tell you, up at the river when it was 85 last week, it was kind of warm doing all this clipping, but I wanted to get it done for the show. The other thing is when you're done with the whole thing, or when you sew it all together, your 4x5, which is what these are, you want to sew around the outside twice. And then you'll clip those outsides. You'll clip the outsides out. And then you'll clip along the outsides, just like you clipped in here. And then you're done. And those directions are all in your kits. And if you have any questions, like I said, we have had numerous classes on making raggies. And we both have experience making raggies. So our mom made a ton of raggies. She used to take her sewing machine to open houses, and she would sew raggies every Sunday afternoon when she was sitting at her open houses. So it's kind of a family thing. We all do a lot of raggies. Brooke kind of cut her teeth making raggies because that's how we started out. But like I said, don't make it difficult. Don't make your X's so that you have to draw a line with a piece of chalk. Make them fun. And then if you look here on the back, these fun X's, they just kind of give it a little fun. You don't. Actually, we had a class of teenagers once do raggy quilts. And I said to them, all you got to do is get from one corner to the other. It doesn't matter what you do. Lord, you got to be careful what you say to teenagers. Next thing you know, they're doing loop-de-loos all over the place. And it was pretty much the whole square was sewn because they were doing loops over here and they were coming around and then they would end up in that corner. And so I have to be really careful. I found out you have to be really careful what you tell teenagers. You have to be more to the point because that was crazy. But you know what? They loved their quilts when they got done. So that's what's important. But a lot of these raggy kits are rolling out this week. We're going to have more coming up because one thing we do is Margie does is carry a lot of flannel. So we can put together raggy kits. Raggy quilts are best made out of flannel or homespuns. And that's because of the looser weave that you have in a flannel. If you look at a piece of flannel, it's a lot more loosely woven than a piece of cotton. Your cotton and your fleece will not rag near as well as flannel and homespun. I've done homespun too, but homespun you absolutely have to put a piece of batting in because your homespun is pretty thin. It's a thin fabric. So you have to put a piece of batting in your homespun. But I've made several of those quilts too. Yep.
Joanne Magnum says that she puts a heart in the middle of the block.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you could do that too.
And you said you should do a heart at least in one of them.
Yeah, you could do that. All you're doing is hooking these 2 blocks together. So yeah, if you want to sew a heart in the middle, or if this is for a baby, you could sew a bee, in the middle. You can do anything you want. All you're trying to do is hook these 2 pieces of flannel together a little bit. But good flannel, I mean, I don't even know that you'd have to do anything because I've learned with the minky, boy, they really hang together. I mean, they'll really hang together regardless. But yeah, sewing a heart is a great idea. You know, or a B for baby, or a C for, I don't know if the baby's name is Charles. You
Judith
know,
says when she does a baby quilt, she uses the lettering on her machine to put their name and birth date and weight in the place of quilting.
yeah, that'd
And
be
you can
cool.
add your name or favorite scripture.
Oh, that would be really cool. I mean, you can do a lot of things across these X's, and you don't have to do them in every X. Maybe every dark X you put part of a scripture, or you put the baby's name, and in the light X you don't do anything, you know, or maybe you just do it up in the top corner. You put the baby's name or the kid's name. I really wish I would have put the kids' names on all their quilts, but are on all their raggy throws, but most of them have them. My son Joe even still has his, and he's a busy guy with his fires. It's amazing he has anything. But that's pretty much it. I think we've covered. Do we cover everything, Margie?
I think so.
You can, and if you don't have a kit, you can just grab all your flannel scraps and sew them together. It's amazing how great all different kinds of flannel look together. So you don't have to have a plan to put these things together. It can be an unplanned event. I mean, it can just be anything. But this is going to be a nice little baby quilt. Um, the nice thing about it is I don't have to quilt it or get it quilted when I get done. I just have to rag it up, throw it in the washer, and then when I find out somebody's had a baby, it's ready to go. That's the nice thing about them is you don't have to get them, quilt them, or quilt them yourself. So when you're done, you're done. But that's how you handle the batting. That's the only difference in them is you really need to cut that batting out of the middle, because if you clip it, then you got these batting fingers. Some of them will wash off, some of them won't. Some of them will wash down to half. So it's just better to kind of clip that out of there to begin with. It doesn't take that much longer. Again, it's another sit down job. I'm always looking for something to do in front of the TV at night. So all righty. That's pretty much all I know about sewing a raggy together. If you have any questions, like I said, you can always message us, or, but we just wanted to send this out or put this out there ahead of these raggy kits going out so that you had something to refer to. Because like I said, it should be a relaxing sewing because you're not doing anything tough. I mean, you're not doing half square triangles and all the other stuff. So, alrighty. You guys have a great night. Have a great weekend. It's cold here in O'Neill, Nebraska. So, raggies are starting to look pretty good.
Putting up with our troubles.
Yeah, and thanks for putting up with all the troubles. Margie's going to have this all figured out by Monday night. So, alrighty. You guys have a great night. Take care.